special. Is this on? Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. When you could be anywhere else, you're here to support a historic event today. And I'm so glad and so proud of you, because everybody here is making the right choice. No doubt about that. Before we begin, I would like to introduce Brianna Manolo. She's from our district, and she's going to be singing the national anthem. Brianna. Woo! Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets wrangling, the bombs bursting here gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and the home of the I was gonna sing it, but I thought I'd leave it to you. Great job. Very, very beautiful. I am honored to be here, along with many friends that support and endorse our wonderful candidate. I'd like to introduce Tom Shanahan, the owner of the Owl Diner. Tom, come on up and say a few words.
I just want to say, Laurie came to me and she said, Tom, she says, I worked at the Owl Diner. She says, there's no other place that I'd rather announce my candidacy and have Dave and Tommy Golden and Rady endorse me. I said, Laurie, it would be an honor to have you come down here and do that. And she worked for me for 5 years, and she was a good waitress and a good person, and she's homegrown. She's from Lowell, and we need a candidate from Lowell to win that seat. Thank you.
Before I go any further, let me please introduce people that are here. My colleague in government, City Councilor Bill Samaras. Former City Councilor and Greater Lowell Regional Vote Committee man, Mike Lindsay. And the Mayor of the City of Lowell, Ed Kennedy. And of course, you're going to hear from our state reps, Tom Golden, David Nangle, and Rady. You will hear from them, but let us give them a round of applause as well for making the right choice. All right. But I know that this person doesn't want to be recognized, but we have our differences, but I love this guy, former Congressman of the 3rd Congressional District, as well as the president, former chancellor of UMass Lowell, and now the UMass Lowell president, Marty Meehan. Let's hear it for Marty. All right, Marty, I got ya. Don't hide, we're very proud of you. I'm honored to be here as well, and I want to introduce at this time Rady. Rady, please come on up, State Rep Rady.
Thank you, Councilor. Rita, thank you so much. I am truly honored to be here. Did I mention Lori have such a really persistent way of getting to hold of you? That's work ethic. My friend, I'm so proud and honored to be here, and along with my two good friends who are here also. You will hear from them. But let me share a little bit with you. This is what Lowell is all about. Imagine a boy who survived a war-torn country and landing here, and now I get to work such great delegation in the House of Representatives in Boston. But not just that, Lowell is welcoming to my whole family. When we landed here, when I say we don't know what food to eat, we literally don't know what food to eat. I live right down the street on the other side. That's where we first landed Lowell. A long story short, Lowell is such a melting pot. We are so diverse in so many ways. And now to have Lori, who is a proven leader that step up and will represent us in Congress. Can you put your hands together for that? So I am very happy to endorse Lori to be our next Congresswoman. Congratulations, Lori.
Thank you, Rady. That was wonderful. Everybody's here that is so important to this team. I want to introduce the next speaker, and that'll be State Representative David Nangle.
Thank you very much, Rita, and how about a great round of applause for a woman that served on the City Council now, I think, for 22 years, giving her heart and soul on many different days and situations. For Rita Mercier. Thank you, Rita. And thank you for your support of our next Congresswoman standing right to your left. I'd like to mention Tom and Mary Beth Shanahan for having the instinct 25 years ago in hiring Laurie here at the Owl Diner. Only 10 years. Only 10 years. Yeah, well, what can I say? I guess I can't answer that. But Tom and Mary Beth, you know, when you think of the Owl Diner, on any given day, you can have plumbers, you can have a doctor, you can have a nurse, you can have an electrician, you can have a custodian, you can have governors in this place right here. And I think it's only fitting that Laurie makes her official announcement right here at the Owl Diner, because I would venture to say that every single person standing out here in front of us here today, every single one of you, has been in this place not once, twice, but 5, 10 times throughout the course of your life. This is where everybody comes. This is where everybody congregates. As Rady said, we're a city, we're a melting pot, and this is where everything takes place here at the Owl Diner. And as I said, Laurie, I think it's just great that you spent your years here while she was going to high school. And rumor has it she was an outstanding volleyball player too, I understand, which I know she was. Juggling sports, juggling your high school, and working here on the weekends and whatever she could do. I have to mention her mother and father, Tony and Linda, when right here in front of us. Now Tony, I knew, grew up right over in Katy Street, just down the street from here, and in a very working class area section of the city of Lowell. And he and his wife Linda have raised 4 wonderful children right here in the Highlands on Staple Street, which is where I'm proud to say that I came from, the Highlands as well. It goes on and on about Laurie, but you know, someone said to me, she doesn't live in Lowell, she lives in Westford. So I said, Laurie attended Lowell Public Schools. She went through the Pine School, the Morey School, the Daly School, Lowell High School. Her husband, Dave Trahan, Taz, as we all know, grew up right over in London Street in Spaghettiville, as we affectionately call it, and reach out to it. And when I tell you about a Lowell couple right here, 2 Lowellians right here, they have never been anywhere but Greater Lowell. And think about Laurie and her roots, right here in the city. Staple Street is about 2 miles up the street here. Taz about 1 mile up the street off of Gorham Street up there. So I would dare to question anybody that has asked me, and I set them straight all the time. No, she's from Lowell. Laurie is always going to be from Lowell, and she will be a great congresswoman from the city of Lowell. Now Laurie, through her hard work and determination, received a scholarship down in Washington to Georgetown University. It was while she was going to school down there that she met the former congressman, Martin T. Meehan, or I should say she was involved in his campaign before that. But Marty knows talent when he sees it, believe me. Marty is one of the hardest individuals to work for. Laurie told me that herself.
pay, though. Good pay.
For Marty, nobody else. That's the only problem.
Not the hot work.
But while she was there, and if you think about this, Laurie knew the district, its problems, and its politics as good as Marty. And I mean that sincerely, because anybody that knows Marty, he works you around the clock. He works you like a dog 24/7, right, Laurie? And so she has come from that experience and that background. And I do have to give Marty some of the credit for making Laurie the woman that she is today here. Although I think you still owe her a few paychecks, Mr. President. So if you'll be kind enough to dip into your First Communion money and pay Laurie. Yeah, he did. But what I'm saying is Laurie understands the problems of everybody here in Lowell. And I'm being parochial, and I'm talking about the 3rd Congressional District. I'm not just talking about Lowell, but I'm going to be parochial for a minute. Everybody here, everybody that I represent, I'm just a little state representative that has had the pleasure and the honor of serving as a state rep for nearly 20 years. A lot of you folks out here are the ones that supported me and got me to the position I am. And you never, ever, ever forget your roots. And I know that Laurie has never forgotten her roots and will never forget her roots as she continues on in this journey over the next 298 days. And I'm going to tell you that over the next 298 days, that Dave Nangle is going to do everything he can to help Laurie become the next Congresswoman in the 3rd Congressional District. I just want to leave you with this. Many districts have congressmen and women who quickly develop a DC perspective rather than a district perspective. They're more concerned about seniority and appointments in Washington and towing the party line than everyday issues that affect the people they are sent down there to represent. They speak from party talking points rather than from their heart. They love the title, but not the job. We need a congressperson who truly understands our needs and concerns and puts them first. We need Laurie Trahan, and thank God we have Laurie Trahan as our next Congresswoman here in the 3rd District. Thank you.
Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Dean of the State Representatives, Tom Golden.
Good afternoon, 3rd Congressional District. Let's try that one more time. Good afternoon, 3rd Congressional District. Let's hear it for your next Congresswoman. In order to be elected, you need 2 things. You have to be competitive. You have to be competitive. And you know something? I am probably very rare in seeing my good friend here on the court, whether it be the basketball court over at Lowell High or the volleyball court. And let me tell you right now, nobody is going to get inside on that right there. She is going to make it happen. I've seen her box out more people on the basketball court. And I've seen the competitiveness when she jumped up and spiked that right in someone's face. Let me tell you something. She is a competitor. She is somebody that will fight, will continue to fight for this entire district. She is someone that we are all extremely proud of. Her parents included right here. This is your baby girl. She's going to Congress to make a difference because of what you taught her. But secondly, compassion. I've also had the opportunity as a state legislator here in the city of Lowell and the town of Chelmsford to see the compassion that this woman has. When I had the chance, when I had to call over to then Congressman Meehan's office, so many times that voice, that friendly voice, was always on the other end of the line saying, "How can I help?" I cannot tell you the number of times when I called over and we didn't know where else to turn, when a constituent here in this area didn't know who to call, and we got in touch with the congressman's office at that time, and the person that was making those calls, the person that was answering that call, the person that made it happen for so many people through those years, Lori Trahan. The compassion that you need to have as a congresswoman. Ladies and gentlemen, I could be here all day long telling you about what happened at Lowell High when she was a competitor, when she never said no, she never quit. She made it happen. She's a team member. She's a team player. She's someone that gets it. And from this delegation standpoint, I have to tell you, I'm going to say it right now, Lori. Welcome to the team. We need people like you down in Congress. 3rd Congressional District, one more time for your next Congresswoman, Lori Trahan. Come on, one more time. Let them hear this all the way for our Congresswoman. Thank you very much for all being here today, and let's get out over the next 200 some odd days, as my good friend Representative Nangle said, and make it a reality, make it happen. Let's send Lori Trahan to Congress to fix it, to make it happen, and she is going to make us all proud. Thank you all very much for being here.
Oh, I'm sorry I have to follow him. That's unbelievable. Because everybody said a lot of what I wanted to say, but that's okay. Lori Trahan. She's the woman that came to my office when I was the mayor, and she introduced me to who she believed in, and that was Tim Cahill for treasurer. You know how to pick good people, and so do we, don't we? Yes, we do. Why do I want Lori? Let me just say, many years ago when my husband was president of Local 39 Painters and Allied Trade for 21 years, I was there, so I knew the answers, I knew the phone calls, I knew what to say, I knew how to help them with their insurance claims, I knew all about it because I lived with this day in and day out. Lori is someone who doesn't have to have on-the-job training. She has been there and back. She was an entry-level status employee, starting off at the ground level, working her way up to chief of staff, not just in Lowell, but in Washington, D.C. as well. She will hit the ground running. Lori knows what to do. You heard them say she answered the phone. She helped people all along. She got the experience as I did from my husband, knowing from being there. We have Lori, a young, energetic, successful businesswoman, a product of Lowell High School, lived in Lowell on Staple Street. We want someone that understands the 3rd Congressional District, not someone that moves from Boston up to Andover and jumps in the race and gets thousands and thousands of dollars. Don't worry about the money. It isn't so much about the money. I came from the poorest section of the city 22 years ago. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I didn't have a war chest, but I had determination just like you, and I made it, and so can you. On a higher level, you'll make it. And then my son David says to me, what's going on with her husband? Is his name David? I said, I'm not sure, but I'll find out. Now, your David knew my David and played basketball together. He said, an outstanding young man. So you know how to pick people. I'll tell you right now, David, you got lucky. This is great. And you don't have to live in the 3rd Congressional District to run for this seat. Did you know that? I didn't realize that. We have a candidate that is running. I want someone that just not only lives in the district, but knows where Lowell is and what Lowell is all about, and Lori knows that. I am just so happy to be here and honored to share my endorsement with you and my state rep colleagues in government. I just got off the phone earlier this morning talking to former Mayor Edward Bud Caulfield. He is endorsing you as well. He could not be here today, but he sent his love to you. He will be there for you. He will see you on the 29th. Don't forget about the 29th of next week. So we really need your support. I'm honored to be here because I put a lot of stock. I weigh options. I listen to what people say, and we have the right person to be our next Congresswoman. I am so proud of her. Let me introduce the next Congresswoman from the 3rd Congressional District, Lori Trahan.
Thank you. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Tom and Mary Beth. Thank you, Tommy, Dave, and Rady. This is overwhelming. I just have to take a second to look at you and take all this in, because it really is something to be standing here before you. I have to start by thanking my family, my mom and dad, Tony and Linda Lorera, right in front of me. My awesome mother-in-law, Lorraine Trahan. Anybody who's here and who knows us well knows that I'm the lucky one. My husband, David, our children, Thomas, Dean, and Christian, and Grace and Caroline. But most of all, I want to thank all of you for coming out here and supporting me on the day after Thanksgiving. I don't even have words for how much that means to me. You know, much has been said this morning. I'm grateful for all the kind words from people that I've admired and respected over the course of my life. So many of you do know my dad, Tony. He was a union iron worker, son of Portuguese immigrants, raised on Katy Street. My mother, Linda, had it a little bit tougher. She spent much of her childhood in the Franco-American orphanage. But let me tell you something about my parents. Together they both worked all the time, really hard. They raised my 3 sisters and me on Staple Street here in Lowell. Like so many families in this district, my parents had to worry about money a lot. They kept the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck far from us, but it was real, like it is for so many families today. I did attend public schools here in Lowell, and I had a great education. As David said, I went to the Pine Street, no longer there, the Morey, the Daly, and finally Lowell High. And like everyone else in my neighborhood, I worked as soon as I could. I delivered the Lowell Sun at age 11. I answered the phones at Cadell and Byers on 21 George Street. And I worked here at the Owl Diner for 5 years, juggling high school and varsity sports. Through a combination of good fortune, hard work, and some mysterious genes, I received a scholarship to play volleyball at Georgetown. But I can remember as if it was yesterday, the anxiety in my parents' faces when we talked about college and the affordability of college. Those types of conversations about making ends meet, about living paycheck to paycheck, about how we're going to afford health care and education, those play out every single day at the kitchen tables of my friends, my family, and this community. That is why I'm running for Congress. I want to be a voice for families like the one I grew up in. I want to fight for the issues that actually matter in people's lives. Good paying jobs with good benefits, good public schools, access to great health care for all of us, and affordable college education. All of us who are running for this seat, we all bring our lived experience to this race. In contrast to some of the field, as Rita pointed out, I'm a lifelong resident of this district, and that's certainly important, but it's not the only thing that's different about me. I've actually had the privilege of working in Congress. After Georgetown, I worked for Marty Meehan in his Massachusetts and his DC offices, and I eventually did become his chief of staff after many, many rungs on that ladder. I had virtually every job in that office, and I learned many things. We were taught how to question the status quo every day, how to use the tools of Congress to instigate reform, how to work in a bipartisan way to pass landmark legislation. I also learned about this district. I got to travel from Haverhill to Marlborough, listening to constituents' concerns, responding to their needs, working collaboratively with state and local government to spur economic reform in this region. But most of all, I learned that being an effective member of Congress, it means not forgetting where you came from. And it means understanding and listening to the needs of the people who elected you to represent them. So after 10 years working in Congress, I embarked on a new challenge. I got a job as an executive at a high-tech early-stage company in Cambridge. While there, I built a team and I learned how to grow a business. It was a great learning experience, and it opened my eyes to the remarkable power and potential of the innovation economy. 6 years ago, I started a business with 2 other women focused on helping companies foster the next generation of leaders, make the workforce more diverse, and be more connected to the needs of their employees and their customers. All of this experience, running for Congress, running a congressional office, building and leading teams, starting a successful business, and helping companies serve their employees, I'm going to bring all of that to Congress. Finally, I find myself thinking more and more about where we are today as women and what the future holds for our children, especially our daughters. And each day I wake up feeling personally assaulted by this administration. Our access to birth control, our reproductive rights, equal pay for equal work, and paid leave, they're all under attack. Nikki Tsongas inspired me in 2000, as she has many other women, when she became the first woman to represent this state in Congress in 25 years. I want to continue her fight on behalf of women everywhere when our rights are being threatened. If Congress is going to get its act together, it's going to need more women, not less. Last year, so many hardworking men and women voted for President Trump because they desperately wanted change. The message was clear. They were tired of Washington as usual, and they want a Congress to go back to work and work for them. So today, I'm here to tell you that I'm running for Congress because I want to go to Washington. I want to go to Washington to fight for real change, to fight for you and be the voice of all the working families like the one that I grew up in. And I hope you'll give me that chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will we give her that chance? You bet we will, Laurie. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you for being here. And thank you for the media. Please make sure that you cover her. I want that. You know what I'm saying? We'll be watching you. So thank you very much. God love you. Thank you very much for spending your day here doing the right thing. Thank you. God love you. Thank you.